Hey there, fight fans. Welcome back to another action-packed episode on our channel. Today, we have got a clash of titans on our radar as Nate Diaz throws down the gauntlet, eyeing a showdown with none other than Deontay Wilder. Now, the buzz around this potential matchup has ignited a fervor among fans, with some questioning the feasibility, and others eagerly anticipating the spectacle.
Nate Diaz, would you be down to...
Almost definitely. Nate,
you be down
me up, bro.
You be down to get in the MMA cage with Nate Diaz?
I'll be down to get in there with Nate for sure.
You think you could take him in the cage?
Man, we gonna see.
All right.
There's only one way to find out.
Seriously, but Deontay Wilder wants to come over to mixed martial arts. He's been doing it for 7 months, so I'm sure he's bloody brilliant at grappling in that time. And he's calling out Nate Diaz. He's calling out a lightweight. He's calling out a welterweight at best. What is he thinking?
But that's not all we've got for you in this video. Also, a title fight between Strickland and Dricus du Plessis has been set up, and former UFC middleweight title challenger Paulo Costa, still based in the United Arab Emirates, is seriously counting on the world's strongest league to once again schedule his fight against Khamzat.
Maybe he has potential, but he's not ready to big fights. I don't believe he's ready, right now.
Jag vill se hennes ögon glida.
As avid MMA and UFC fans, we all love analyzing fights and predicting outcomes. Enter Underdog Fantasy, the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports and test your fight prediction skills. Just pick higher or lower on a fighter's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Also, picks for UFC 295 are live on Underdog. If you think you know MMA, you can make picks on your favorite fighters for UFC 295. Get all of your picks right and win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Here are some of the projections available on Underdog. So who are your favorite picks? In an Inside Fighting interview, Wilder was asked about the prospect of facing Nate Diaz, to which he promptly agreed. Additionally, he expressed his willingness as a boxer to entertain the notion of a crossover fight with a former MMA fighter such as Diaz. Now, Diaz responded to Wilder's remarks, commending the former WBC heavyweight champ for embracing the idea of stepping into an MMA arena. Hailing from Stockton, California, Diaz wrote, "Let's get these contracts written up ASAP. Real fight shit. Respect to a real fighter, down to fight for real. All love to boxing, but this is different real shit. LFG 1993. Now, having hung up his UFC gloves after a submission victory over veteran Tony Ferguson in September of 2022, Diaz ventured into boxing, experiencing a unanimous decision loss against Jake Paul in August. Meanwhile, Wilder has been inactive since securing a first-round knockout against Finland's Robert Helenius, marking a triumphant return from a consecutive stoppage loss against Fury. Now, if Wilder does venture into MMA, he would be the first former champion of a major boxing organization to do so since James Toney faced off against Randy Couture at UFC 118 in August of 2010. Now, Nate Diaz's idea of going head-to-head with Deontay Wilder stirred a range of responses from many fans. While some raised doubts about the practicality of such a matchup, the majority of supporters eagerly welcomed the prospect of the fight. One fan wrote, "That would be the perfect first guy to come over into the octagon, and a reason for Nate to go back to the UFC." Another wrote, "Brother, he's a heavyweight." Another fan wrote, "Betting the farm on Nate. This is a fight I'm certain of. Bring it on right now." LFG, "Nathan bro, I know I hating on PFL, but you gotta remember you are the fucking show, not the promoter. Whoever could make this fight for the biggest cash, you should go with."
Listen, I'm a big fan of Deontay Wilder. I love the excitement that he brings to the octagon. Remember that fight, that draw with Tyson Fury? That was phenomenal. That's when I became a fan. Wasn't a fan of the next 2 times where he lost and then came out with every excuse under the sun. His suit of armor was too heavy. It drained his legs, okay? Well, you're gonna need stronger legs, bro. You got legs like toothpicks, okay? Start doing some deadlifts, start doing some squats, and start learning how to bloody wrestle. You need to put some meat on your pal. Or, should I say, you need to slim down. Or Nate Diaz needs to bulk up, one of the two. that fight will not even get sanctioned.
Now, Francis Ngannou shared his opinion about the desire of former WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder to become a mixed martial arts fighter.
If MMA is next, I think the biggest fight for you in MMA, I said this before you came on, is you versus Deontay Wilder in MMA. Because it continues the story of MMA versus boxing. All the boxing guys will follow. But now we have a guy who comes over to MMA from boxing. What do you think of that idea?
I think that's a good idea. In fact, we have spoken about that.
Oh.
In fact, that has been in the discussion.
Okay.
So that's something that can potentially happen. So Deontay Wilder, for a couple months, for a little while now, been training MMA.
Oh, really?
So, oh yeah, because there is an option.
Also, Deontay Wilder believes that the heavyweight division in boxing is in the worst situation in the history of the sport, saying, "I agree that the heavyweight division is in the worst position in its history. I brought the excitement back into boxing. If you don't agree, then why is he so boring, so dead when I'm not there?" Wilder stated. Now, if Wilder takes the plunge into MMA, he would be stepping into some uncharted territory, becoming the first former champion of a major boxing organization to do so in over a decade. I think we can all agree that Wilder's willingness to explore this uncharted territory adds an element of unpredictability to the combat sports landscape.
Good luck tomorrow, you too. Good.
I will. I'm going to win that belt right now, right here, this Saturday. Let's go for that.
Fala aí, pessoal do Brasil. Pô, tá chegando, sabadão. Pô, mais uma luta, mais uma guerra, mais cinturão aí pra nós. Chama.
2 days. Let's go.
I had an early flight from Las Vegas to New York. When I land, I couldn't help but notice all the headlines of Yuri's opinion that Alex has a sharper skill set in striking than that of my own. So I decided to do a response, Keith Lee style. Now, while the former champ is entitled to his own opinion, I think it's fair to be noted that the fact that you have never seen me rocked, knocked out, or outstruck. I also hold the record for the most strikes landed in this division. Also have some of the highest striking differential numbers in all of the UFC. We'll also just throw in the fact that I have more fights in the UFC than both of you combined. So in all honesty, I respect your opinion. I just find it funny.
It is time for my final pick. Alex is an amazing kickboxer. He had Izzy hurt. He knocked out Sean Strickland. He's knocked out pretty much everybody he's fought for the most part. Yuri is very dynamic. He's very unorthodox. And that's what I believe is going to give Alex trouble. Yuri or Alex? And my guts tell me that Yuri is going to come out as a new light heavyweight champion of the world. He is just more dynamic. He's doing push kicks. He's not scared to do a takedown. And I think his approach to this fight is a little bit unorthodox. Where you have Alex, who is a traditional striker, hits hard, but for me, I have to go with Yuri. He has that unknown factor. And for me, I always like that, especially going to mixed martial arts, where it is the one sport where you can use all art forms to get the job done. So for me, I am picking Yuri. I think Yuri is going to submit, is going to take him down, pass his guard, and submit Alex. But if Yuri goes out there and tries to play the good old kickboxing game, he's probably going to get knocked the hell out.
Former UFC middleweight title challenger Paulo Costa, still based in the United Arab Emirates, is seriously counting on the world's strongest league, the UFC, to once again schedule his fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Paulo Costa took to social media saying, "While he's hiding, I'm hunting to eat," tagging Khamzat Chimaev. "Dubai is my home. I captured him." Now, the middleweight bout between Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa was scheduled to take place on October 21st at UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi. However, 12 days before the event, Costa pulled out of the fight due to a staph infection, and Kamaru Usman took his place on the card, ultimately losing to Boers by a majority of the judges' votes.
Oh my God.
Now, despite the fact that Chimaev was announced as the next contender for the middleweight title, just a few days ago, the head of the UFC, Dana White, officially announced that the championship fight between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis will be the main event of UFC 297, which will be taking place on January 20th in Toronto. Now that is bound to be pretty intriguing, right? We would love to hear your thoughts on all of this, so please share your comments down below, and most importantly, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of your support in advance. Thank you.